Hello dear students, I'm Karuna Mishra and I'll be teaching you science and technology. Now, when it comes to science and technology, there are few myths around this subject, there are few fears around this subject. It is believed that this subject is good for those students who have a science background, medical students or students who have had biology or physics in their graduation will do very well in this. Engineers will have an edge over the subject, and students who are from arts or commerce background shall have an issue with it, etc., etc. Now, first thing first, before telling you the syllabus, what books to refer or basic books, what should be your approach, I want to make one thing very, very clear, that in UPSC, they have made sure that with every subject you have a level playing field. For example, in science and technology, if they are asking you about the cellular biology, they also make sure that they ask you about the cutting edge technology of biotechnology, for example, CRISPR or gene editing, which is new not only for you but also for any student who's there. They want you to have a generalist view. So when you are studying science and technology for UPSC, you need to have 2-3 things in mind. First, you should have the basic reading and understanding of your NCERTs. Now, when we talk about NCERTs, they don't want you to read all the NCERTs till 12th standard, but from 6th to 10th. You should have a good understanding as well as reading of the NCERTs from 6th to 10th standard. These NCERTs are easy. They will give you a basic foundation. We try to cover many of the areas in the class as well. But if you are a serious aspirant, you will take out some time and go or give it a single read. Don't try to mug it up. Don't make notes out of it or anything. But just a good reading, one-time reading is very, very must for the NCERTs. The topics that need repeated reading, we shall tell you in the class. Next, you have to be aware and you should be very regular in reading newspapers. As we all know, there are two newspapers which are generally referred to the UPSC aspirants, that is the Hindu and the Indian Express. Whosever's language you think suits you, you can refer to that newspaper. When it comes to the Hindu, there is a separate dedicated section for science and technology. Now, apart from that, you also have to make sure you remain aware. For example, there was a question in science and technology with respect to air defense system, and since we have seen so much of use of air defense system, whether it is Operation Sindoor, whether it was the Israel and Iran conflict right now going on, or the Israel-Palestine, Hezbollah's attacking the Israeli territories, etc., how the air defense system played a role. Now, if you are not aware that this particular technology is repeatedly been in the news, you will not be preparing it well. So you have to be very aware. You need to keep your eyes and ears open. Now, the beauty is science and technology per se does not have any standard book. Reason being, this particular subject is very much current affairs based. So if I divide it, then you have to understand the basic science and integrate it with the technology. For example, the basic science is the basic understanding of the propulsion of a rocket or a movement of a rocket outside the Earth's orbit. That is the basic science. The physics part, that is the movement of rocket or the movement of any material based on Newton's third law. When a force is applied and it moves upward, this is the basic that we'll teach you in the science. The technology part of it will be the rocket launching or the launching of space missions. If the basic science is understanding the cell biology, the interior of the cell, nucleus, the outer orbit, mitochondria, etc., until and unless I do not have that basic understanding, I shall find it difficult to understand gene editing. I shall find it difficult to understand DNA sequencing. I shall find it difficult to understand mitochondrial replacement therapy. So if in order to understand the latest technology, I should have a fair idea about the basic science. How should I have a command on the basic science? Read the NCERTs, but more importantly, when you see any news article, when you see any current article, sit down, ask two questions. what is the basic of it, where should I read the basics from, and second is what shall be the application. If for any technology you find application that shall change the lives of the people, that shall have a huge impact on the lives of the people, then you have to read it in detail. Now when it comes to syllabus, what kind of weightage do they have, how many questions are asked in mains, how much is the weightage, in prelims how much is the weightage, etc. When it comes to prelims, you get a minimum of 12 questions and a maximum of up to 19 questions from science and technology. In fact, science and technology, if you integrate with the other subjects, sometimes crosses even 20 questions. But if I say exclusively from science and tech, these are the number of questions that you can find from science and tech. In prelims, that is 100. Out of these questions, this is the weightage of only science and technology. When it comes to mains beta, in mains, science and technology is part of GS paper 3. In the GS paper 3, science and technology is used or has a weightage of around 4 to 5 questions. 4 to 5 questions, if I divide with 10 marker or 15 marker also, then it is somewhere between 40 to 60 marks. So around 40 to 60 marks in the mains and around 12 to 19 questions in the prelims. It is a huge role that plays in the selection. Now always remember, why should I give so much importance to a subject? Your job is to clear the paper. So you should also have a clear balance sheet in your mind. Now what balance sheet am I talking about? What is ROI? ROI is return on investment. And what is the biggest investment a UPSC aspirant has? The biggest investment is time. So if I read the bigger subjects, for example, I teach in geography as well. Now geography is a huge subject. For completing geography, understanding it, practicing questions, I need at least 2 months. But whereas when it comes to science and technology, sometimes even 3 months for geography. With science and technology, I can complete everything between 20 days to 1 month. If I can complete a subject within a month and it is giving the same number of questions in the prelims and is having a fine weightage in the mains as well, the ROI is very high. The return on investment is high because I am spending less time for preparing for doing that subject, and then in return I am getting a lot of marks, and the overall chances of me clearing this exam are high. So when it comes to science and tech, I want to I want you to keep 2 to 3 things in the mind. First is, nobody has an advantage. Everyone will have a level playing field. The questions are more generalistic in view. हर आदमी के लिए बनाया जाता है बच्चे वो पेपर. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप अगर किसी एक बैकग्राउंड से हैं तो आपको एडवांटेज मिलेगा. इवन इफ यू आर फ्रॉम द टेक्निकल बैकग्राउंड, दे माइट पुट क्वेश्चंस ऑन द biology more, they might question on general life more. Even if you are from the biology background, they will put questions on air defense system and the current computer based technology. So it will be a level playing field for everyone. If you are from non-science background, there is absolutely nothing to worry. We simple it down for you to understand. Now next, you have to be aware for this subject. You cannot mug it up in the last moment. When it comes to NCERT, reading NCERTs will help you, and newspaper reading and integrating that current knowledge with the basic is the key, is the nectar to this syllabus, especially when it comes to this subject. Alright, so I'll meet you in the classrooms. I hope I could give you some idea about the subject. Till then, have a nice day.